Hi guys, welcome to Learn Electronics Repair. It's car booty time again. So I have a few computers for you to look at and for me to look at. Okay, let's see what we have. This is an all beige case with all beige drives in it. It has some interesting stickers on the front, so let's have a look. It says Fujitsu Siemens, it says Intel Pentium 4 inside, it says T-Bird and another sticker. This one has a couple of USBs. Probably is a Pentium 4. I mean, sometimes they are different inside than what they say. This says this T-Bird -P again on this. Okay, Fujitsu Siemens again. So, without contemplating anymore, yeah, let's open it up and let's have a look to see what's actually inside it. And we have a P4, very clean inside this one, gigabyte motherboard. Okay, so regards to saying Fujitsu on the front, it's a gigabyte motherboard, GA8STXC. I've not had this one before. Okay, you can see the number down there. No hard drive on this one, so I think we'll take the motherboard out of it. We have a AGP graphics card, looks like a Firewire card, a wireless LAN card, and a modem. Okay, let's get to the part. Here's the motherboard. This one says P4 Titan. Now I've had quite a few gigabyte boards that say P4 Titan on them, but I don't think they're always the same model number. This seems to be like a brand or something they were using effectively, and I think they used that on a few different motherboards, to be quite honest. Well, at least from what I've seen, that is the case. So a slightly different P4 Titan than the other ones I've had. This one definitely needs recapping. We can see here 1, 2, and that one isn't too well either. In fact, I think that is actually leaked. So yeah, that's on the motherboard. Yeah, you can see down there what's happened to that. I'll take these capacitors off and then let's have a quick look at this board and see if we can get rid of that crap. To do that, I'm going to take the heatsink off, so we might as well have a look to see which CPU we have on here while we're at it. This looks like one of the quick release type. Well, at least supposedly quick. No, actually it was quick. That came off really quite easily. Yeah. Let's see if this will come off without taking the CPU out of the socket with it. Yeah, this one did as well. Strange, I've mentioned that these tend to rip the CPU out of the socket, and then every time since I've mentioned that, it didn't. Yeah, probably just because I said they would. We can see actually now there's some more bad capacitors, another 3 here. Also leaked out horribly, so I'll have to take those out as well. What's this CPU? Well, it's a 2.53 gigahertz, nothing interesting, nothing special, nothing worth anything, unfortunately. Let's get onto these capacitors. Oh, and what's this as well? Is this stuff out of the capacitors? Yeah, I'll give it a clean. Okay, these are pretty nasty. I mean, that one, you know, it's not good at all, but some of them are worse. I mean, look at this thing, yeah. Horrible, okay. That one's just bulged, leaked a little bit. Another bad one, okay. 3300, 6.3 volts, these will all be the same because they're all on the same voltage rail. Yeah, horrible stuff. Last one again, nasty. So these have actually merely failed at the bottom rather than the top, which is not a good thing, because when that happens, this happens. Okay, so let's see if we can get rid of this. I'll just try and get the dry, crusty stuff off first. Yeah, it's coming off at least, I think. Doesn't look like it's actually got any damage on the motherboard. I mean, there's a bit of stuff kind of like check on those resistors. Okay, so these here, just clean some of this stuff off. Yeah. Okay, and then clean up the whole thing with some isopropyl. Okay, it's a bit discoloured, but I think we've got most of it off. Yeah, bit of kitchen roll. There. See if these holes have all come clear. I'm not sure about this bottom one. Looks like that might still be blocked actually. That might just have some isopropyl in it. Let me just turn this over. Okay, yeah, this one here isn't cleared. Those are obviously cleared, it's just this one. So we'll clean this area up. See if we can clear that with a bit of braid. Saves getting the desoldering tool back out again if I can just do this one. Okay, bit of flux. Let's see, might need a bit of hot air, we'll see. Okay, so get the braid into the flux. Give it a good warm and see what happens. Nope. No, okay. We'll resort to a bit of fresh solder. Often helps with this sort of thing. Okay, some hot air. Just warm the area up. Hopefully do the job. Bit of flux on the braid itself. Okay, now let's try it. Plenty of heat. And no, this one's proving to be really troublesome. And I've got it. Okay. So, if I have an odd one to do, I'll do it that way. Otherwise, I'll just get the desoldering tool out. This is probably a bit too big to fit in the hole, just as if it's clear. Yeah, this is actually the tool I used to clean the desoldering tool. You know what, guys? That isn't clear. I thought it was. Let's try another way. So, have a needle here. Warm it up again. See if we just push it through. Yeah. I'll just wait till the solder actually solidifies. Okay, we've got it. Let's look at the other one. So this is where the other ones came out from. Just wants to clean, I think this with a bit of ISO. Okay. Yeah, looks pretty good. I think these are all clear. I'll fit some new capacitors and then let's see if this one actually works. There are the new capacitors then, 3 of them. The motherboard's nice and clean down that side now. And the same on the other side. Okay, 3 there. Just a little bit of a stain mark there, but I don't think really it is a problem. Let's check for shorts on the 12 volts, and if that's okay, let's power this up. Okay, resistance mode. What do we have? Well, that side is short. There's one side is short anyway. That's short. And that's fine. You can see the resistance climbing up on those two. Okay, so let's power this up. There's no VGA out on this, but I'm hoping to get a bleep or something out of it. We have the analyzer card as well. I think I have the on-off switch in the right place. And it starts. Oh, and it's booting. It's asking for a graphics card. So this one looks like a good one. This is the graphics card that came with it. Radeon 9600. Okay. But the most interesting thing about this is the fact it's got this connector on the end of it, which looks like a audio cable that would go to a CD-ROM on a graphics card. Okay, why not, I guess. Push this in here and we'll try it. The Radeon only has VGA out. I could attach one of my cards, use the capture card, but we'll do it this way and we can see if the graphics card's also any good. So power on, starting up, one bleep this time. Yes, Fuji. Ah, so it does have a Fujitsu Siemens BIOS or splash screen, although in fact actually it's a gigabyte board. Interesting that. I wonder if these boards were made for Siemens or whether there's another BIOS for this model, which would actually go up and say gigabyte. No hard drive came with it, fair enough, but this does at least seem to be working. Okay, another one safe from the landfill then. Let's have a look to see if it's worth any money. Here's the motherboard on eBay. So we have some for sale here at various different prices, but similar from Poland. These all say brand new actually, so that's quite interesting, and there are no more. So maybe they are new old stock, that's my best guess. But I don't think it mentions the thing actually has a box, so how can you say it's brand new? Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's have a look at the advanced listings and see how much they sell for, if they have sold any. Sold items, search. And we find then one sold for £25.60, but with £42 postage from Germany. This is on eBay UK, so put the postage with that, that's about 60 pretty much. So I think it probably is worth about £50 or something like that for sale, which is pretty good investment on the €15 I paid for it. The Radeon card, well, these are sold ones and they seem to fit about 20 to 25, £30. So if we put that on top, we say 25 and the motherboard, maybe £75 there. That's quite nice actually, certainly worth recapping. Okay, let's look at something else. Looks like an AMD machine. No AGP, so it's quite an old one. One of these funny, rather useless CNR slots. So the fact there's no AGP on makes me think this isn't really of any great value or interest, even on the retro market. 2 hard drives in this one. Okay, let's get this motherboard out and let's have a look to see what it is on the bench. Here's the motherboard. Let's have a look to see what processor is on this. Okay. Well, it is an AMD as I thought it would be. Which one? Athlon 1600 Plus, I think that will be. Some stickers on it, but at least he didn't put them across the die. We've seen that before, yeah. So let's see if this is working. This board doesn't have a separate 12 volts, it does have a VRM. It must be powered from the ATX connector. We can have a quick look for shorts just by checking around these MOSFETs. So one end will connect to ground. I just want to ohms range. This end? No, not this end. Maybe. Oh yes, it is this end. So this connects to ground, assuming it's not shorted. This will be the CPU. Yeah, 15, 16 ohms. And then this will be the 12 volts. Oh, actually that reads low. Unless that's connecting to that, I could be wrong. Let's have a look on here. Not so sure about the readings around that at all. Oh no, it's okay actually. I've just checked it again. So this is one of the source pins going to ground, and so is that one. So these are two low side MOSFETs. The tab here, this is reading the CPU resistance. I could take the CPU out and that resistance would go away, but I'm confident enough that's what it actually is. Okay, and then I would find the same resistance on these two. So there's two high side MOSFETs on the source there and there. We can clearly see these are connected together. And then this will be the input, whether it's 5 or 12. Okay, that's climbing high. So there is no short on the VRM. I just wasn't quite certain where I was measuring at first, but you can see clearly that is okay. Let's power this board up. It's ready to go. I haven't attached the speaker because there's one on the board already. We can see the analyzer card there. Let's see if it starts. Well, it does start, but the analyzer card doesn't read anything. Well, that's a first. I don't have any RAM in it, so I'm not expecting it to do anything other than bleep. Well, that's the first time I've seen the analyzer card not read anything. Let's make sure it's in properly. Ah, looks like it wasn't in properly, or it's just decided to do something now. Yeah, so it looks like it's actually trying to do something. Okay. No RAM, no bleeps. If it'll switch off with the switch. Yeah. I'll put it into a different slot. Try that one. Okay. C1 is RAM. That's what you would expect to get for having no RAM, although you would expect it to bleep, which it isn't doing. Okay. Let's put some RAM in. These are the RAM modules that came with it, PC133. Slots are a little bit dusty. I'll try one first, so we'll just put one of them in. Okay. Do we get a different code? No, we still have C1. Put the RAM in a different slot. C1. Let's try the other RAM. C1. Probably this is starting by itself because the CMOS battery is no good. Again. That time it didn't start by itself and it shut down. Ah, switch the power supply on, Richard, okay. So C1. I'll put a different CMOS battery in, but I doubt very much that's anything to do with the problem. And then I'll try cleaning the RAM slots. In fact, I'll just check this CMOS battery, but I'm pretty confident this will be discharged. Yep, that's fairly discharged. Just get the reflection off there, the glare. Okay, that's pretty well discharged. Okay, new battery. 3.27 nearly. Good. Let's put both RAM in as well, why not? In fact, no, let's definitely not, because you should only ever change one thing at a time. C1. C1. Okay, let's clean the RAM slots. Okay, let's try that. C1. Oh, okay. Yeah, then it one bleep, so I'm pretty sure this is booting up. I'll just try with the RAM in the other slot and then we'll attach the monitor as well. Yep, booting. I'll put both strips in and we'll attach the monitor. We now get one bleep. Interesting, we didn't get any bleeps when the RAM wasn't detecting. Yeah, that's funny that. Okay, so it looks like it has both strips of RAM, I think. XP 1600. Let's attach the hard drives. I'll try and figure out, well, I should easily be able to tell which one is the master, actually. That has one jumper in the first position. That in fact is set to master. This has one jumper here sideways and a little chart on here, so I can see that is set to slave there. So let's put the master drive on and let's see if we can load the OS on this. Let's see if we have an operating system on this. I don't think it's detected the hard drive. It is spinning, I can hear it spinning, but I can't hear the head seeking at all. Let's just encourage it a little bit. It's found it actually, funnily enough. I put it sideways and it's actually found it. Let's go into the BIOS. Not seeing the USB keyboard, I'll get a PS2 keyboard. Okay, second attempt. Now it found the drive straight away. It's when I stood the drive up on edge, I was going to usually give like a little tap as I normally do, but that didn't make any difference. I can get into the BIOS, okay, or rather, I think it's just set the defaults. Let's see what it does. Disk out. Let's try that. Sometimes it works with these old drives. We'll go into the setup this time. We'll load the BIOS defaults. And it can't read the disk. It's possible there's nothing on there, or it could just be that the drive doesn't work. I don't hear the head seeking, so probably the drive itself is faulty. We can see if anyone's home. Okay. One more go. I actually think I heard the heads click that time. I'm not sure it's actually going to work, but we'll see. No. Oh well, at least we have a good motherboard by the looks of it. The other hard drive was set to slave. I don't think this would be the boot drive. I mean, there's no reason why it couldn't be, I guess. This is actually a 10.1 gigabyte drive. If you look at the jumpers on the back, it has some interesting settings if I get the camera to focus on it. Yeah, there you go. So we have one settings where we can set it to 16 heads. Another setting where we can set it to 2 gigabytes maximum capacity. These can be quite useful for people who are trying to run old hardware such as 486s, which will only work up to certain size drives. So something like this, we have a 15 head position as well. So I'm guessing that's useful to some people if the drive works. At the moment it seems to be set into 2 gigabyte clip slave, so I'm just going to leave it alone. I mean, there's no reason why it can't boot from the slave drive, so let's see what it does. Power on, start. Well, it's making sounds, not healthy sounds, but it's making sounds. Well, it sounds like a poorly hard drive, that, yeah. Doesn't detect it. Okay. So it looks like a case we've just got 2 bad hard drives. I mean, these things, when they're this old, this was 1999. These will fail, I guess. Quite often I find the hard drives don't work of this sort of age, okay? But the motherboard, we can have a look to see if that's of any value. Well, there's a MS6378 version 2. Mine's exactly almost like that. Exactly almost. Mine's a 6378 version 3. Somebody asking for £60 for it, plus a good chunk of postage from Australia. There are no more. Let's go into sold listings and see if that tells us anything else about this. Well, it tells us that one sold for £12.95. And that was in a buy it now, and another one sold for $45.63. That's a very rather slightly different motherboard. It's got an X in it. I'm not sure what the difference is. It looks basically the same as ours. So I think this one's a kind of anybody's guess, really. None are in auction, but maybe that one was a bit of a fluke. Maybe that one is more typical. Maybe it's worth £40. Maybe it's not. Maybe you guys have got something to say in the comments below. I think we have time to look at one more machine. Let's see what else we have. And here is the last one. So this is very tall. I actually had a case just like this with a machine in from sometime at the end of the 90s, I think it was. So that was a Pentium MMX 200. Actually, it must have been a bit earlier than that. Pentium 200 MMX, it probably must have been the mid-90s. And I had the same case. And I found another one just like it. Mine, I set the display on here to say 666 because it was the beast, okay? Pentium 200 MMX with 48 meg of RAM in it. Wow. So interesting to find a case like that one, even though it isn't in good condition. I actually sold my machine when I moved over to the Canary Islands as a retro machine to a guy who basically bought and sold PCs but liked it so much he kept it. Now you can see this is really corroding on the back of it. The graphics card's right down there in the bottom, which is a bit of a strange place to find it, really. We also have the serial ports. I think these brackets are probably just effectively brackets with cables going to the board. You'd think this might be like a ISA slot that's right down there, but it could be PCI. I guess really we are just going to have to open this up and have a look right now. So what is it? Well, it's that. It's a 486DX2 and the board is completely ISA slots. Oh my No, this is not. It's the first one I have seen in all the years of doing retro stuff, 4 years or more now. This is a VESA local buzz machine. Wow. Well, we can take a look at this from the top, so you can see the graphics card and the sound card. I'm pretty sure that will be. Yeah. No, this is a multi-IO card, so this basically has the IDE controller on and the floppy drive controller on, the serial and parallel ports, both VLB or VESA local buzz. So for those of you who've never seen one before, well, there one is. Unfortunately, there's a huge amount of corrosion on this down here that we obviously need to deal with before we can do much with this. We'll try and clean it off. So I'll take this thing apart and then let's have a look what we've got in it. Well, we have a Colorado 250 megabyte tape drive that looks really, really dirty inside there. Okay. Doesn't look too clever. We have that. We have a Seagate ST3550A hard drive, 450 megabyte hard drive. I've never yet found a hard drive of this vintage that actually works. But I guess one day I will, so who knows. And we have a VESA local buzz motherboard. So for those of you not familiar, this was out for a few years before PCI. And basically these were ISA motherboards with these extended slots down here. VESA local buzz master slave, so you had two of them, master and slave. And this card is a Super IO card. So this is your serial and parallel ports, your hard drive controller, your floppy drive controller. So this is the IDE controller. Okay, let's see if we can get that out of the board. It's very stiff, very hard to actually move, and I don't want to break the sockets. Let's see if I get the other one out first. That'll be a better bet. So this is the graphics card. Okay. Strange how difficult this is to remove, because back in the day these things were always jumping out of the sockets on their own when the machine was moved around, and now you can't seem to get them out at all. 1993. Okay, so that's how old this is. I had a computer shop building computers at that time. I can see now why it's stuck in here, because there's a lot of corrosion down here. I'll have to get something under the edge, plastic, I think, and kind of leave it out a little bit. Well, it looks like I might be getting the IO card to move a little bit. Okay. Not easily. Definitely coming out. I can see the things moving. Yeah. Yeah, definitely with a little bit of rocking backwards and forwards. I think this will come out. Yeah, it's out at that end. It's out, okay. So there you go, guys. That's a VESA local buzz. So effectively, the ISA slot is 8 megahertz, and then this was whatever speed it was, similar to PCI. Okay. You can see the slot now quite clearly. Let's see if we can get the other card out. Yeah, same thing, waggle it backwards and forwards a little bit. It's coming. Yeah. Okay. And there we have it. MVGA T9400CX. Okay, quite corroded, a lot of corrosion in the slot. These slots look pretty good. Intel 486 DX266. I quite like how they held the crystal down with a little tie wrap there. Okay. I'll get a bit of isopropyl and I'll just clean this up a little bit, but this thing definitely requires a video of its own because this is a restoration job. It's not a quick just let's try it and see job, I don't think. But we will check whether we've just got the worst of this off here, how much this thing is actually worth. I think while I'm here, actually, I will just desolder this battery. All the end always appears to be here. Okay, can we even get maybe a bit of flux will help, but let's have a look. Now I have some solder on there. And the battery fell out. Okay, let's just clean the rest of that off. This is one of the little plastic washers that was on the mounting bolt. Okay, that's very ingrained. The last bit doesn't want to come off. Interesting, this is like darkened as though something's actually attacked the substrate of the PCB itself a little bit there. I can't imagine anything was getting hot there. This side. And there we can see what we have. So some quite nasty corrosion in this area. I'm not sure if it'll just scrape off with a bit of plastic. Not particularly well. We need some sort of solvent, I'm sure, for that. The same here. That's not too bad actually. So these tracks in this area. I don't want to be too harsh with it because I don't want to actually damage the tracks any more than they are. Okay, you can see them. So we have to deal with that. I'm not too worried about the green bits on the components there. Similar sort of problem on the back, so we have to deal with that. And then the problem with this slot. This is the first of the VESA local bus slots, okay. As I seem to remember, there's some jumpers somewhere which sets master and slave on these. Okay, so we need to clean that. Again, I'll just get a bit of isopropyl in to get the worst of it off, but it's not going to clean it. Well, actually, it doesn't look quite so bad now with a bit of ISO in there, but probably once it dries, it'll probably look pretty much like it did before. Okay. All the pins look fairly intact, that's a good thing. Cleaning the edge of this shouldn't be too difficult, this should be quite easy, I would think. Again, just get a bit of ISO on there. And probably just use kitchen roll, that's a bit abrasive actually. Okay. Try it, bit of kitchen roll, just get it. And literally rub at it. Yeah, some of it's coming off. Maybe a razor on a pencil is good for that actually. You can see on the ISA slot there's not many connections. That's because the VESA local bus is doing most of the work here. I think that'll come fairly clean. What's this on the board? Is this a bit of corrosion? I think this is just a little bit of isopropyl that's splashed. Yeah, looks like it. Okay, so I've cleaned that up as best I can. Other things to do then with this, if we're going to restore this, I would suggest we need to replace these connectors. Once we take the bracket off, I think we can clean that up. I'm sure we can find suitable connectors for these on scrap cards, that shouldn't be a problem. Same with the VGA, that's very bad, but once again I'm sure I can find a VGA connector off a scrap card that will fit in there. I suspect the design or layout of these hasn't changed. Let's see if I'm wrong. Yeah, quite like the RAM expansion on this. Look, you just add some more RAM. That's how they used to be, or you can just change the RAM. Yeah, then things basically were like improved to make them worse. Yeah, and you can't do that anymore. I've given this a clean. You can see there's still more to come off, but the contacts don't look too bad. The same as the slot. I've got some ISO in there and cleaned it. It looks better than it was, but there's still more to do with this. Let's have a look to see how much this might be worth. I'll put the model number of the motherboard in first. So this is a DX6700. A funny A logo. I'm not quite sure who that actually is. DX6700. Sold. Search. Nothing. Okay, let's go into normal listings. None for sale. Okay, let's search for 486 VELB machine, something like that. So let's go 486 VLB. Does that find anything? Yeah, so there's a motherboard there for sale at 61. Okay, another one at 95. 76. About 100. So that gives us probably a reasonable idea of what these are probably worth. We can do the same search on sold listings. Yeah, you can see, like, one sold there for 90, okay. Another one for 47, 72, 78. So 80, 90 pounds. One there sold for 192. Asus, okay. It seems like the brand thing even then was important. Ours has a manufacturer's logo on, but I'm not actually sure what it is. Maybe you guys will know. So it has that logo. Does anybody know who that is? It looks like AN. Yeah, AN. A little bit of paper in there. It has a date on it, I think. Yeah, 1993. Okay, 26th of October 93. This then, guys, is something of a restoration job. I'm not going to power it up on this video. I'd at least like to get rid of this mess first and then get it into condition where we think, yeah, let's try it. Okay, if it works, then we can change these various connectors. I think that's the way to go on this one. Now, I've tried before with this sort of thing, and I've tried white vinegar, and I had rather mixed results. Like, I actually managed to dissolve the pins inside a socket. Yeah, that was an ATP socket. I put the piece of kitchen towel soaked in white vinegar in and left it for half an hour, and one of the pins dissolved. That wasn't really what we wanted. So what do you guys think? Should we order some products especially to do this? Should I clean my hands after handling it? Yes. Okay, so let's do something a bit special. This is my 472nd or 473rd video, and guess what's coming soon? Video number 486. Video number 486, and what better to do on that video than this? Yeah, a 486 restoration. So we have a few videos to go at the rate I'm publishing. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 weeks or so. That gives us enough time to order anything we might need for this. So comments below, guys, what shall we use? Yeah, your best advice on this, and let's see if we can get this thing working. Hope you enjoyed that. Very nice piece of hardware. I was saying just a few videos ago, I've never seen a VLB machine yet, and look what turns up, a VLB machine. Just as they do. Hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you all soon on another Learning Electronics Repair video. Ciao for now, guys.